I've lost followers. What will I ever do? In this video, I'm going to be sharing why you should not be concerned about losing followers and how to deal with losing followers, because sometimes that can be something that's very discouraging. And I'm also going to go into a little bit when you should be concerned about losing followers. So, somebody, a former student of Social Media Confidential, so they would be an alumni, and a follower of mine actually asked this question. And so this is why I am making this video for them. So if you're watching live, you can ask any questions that you may have concerning this topic, or if you are just hopping on, say hello, and let's get a dialogue going. So, some of the reasons why you may be losing followers: someone may have unfollowed you because they just don't resonate with your content anymore. So maybe they followed you for a particular reason, but they now see that once they are digesting your content, it's not really for them. It's not their cup of tea. So they may unfollow you. Another reason may be because they just might not agree with you as well. So maybe you weighed in on a controversial topic and they didn't really like your response. And so they're just like, ugh, I don't want to deal with this person anymore. I don't want to see their content anymore. And so they unfollow. And then another reason might be that some of your followers unfollowed you because they were looking for you to follow them back. So I think in some people's minds, there is an unspoken rule that if someone follows you, you need to follow them back. And that's not always the case. Sometimes it really comes down to what content are you creating? Because if you follow someone that regularly creates content and they engage with their followers, all that good stuff, and then they come onto your profile because they're like, oh, I have a new follower, and they see zero posts, or they see blurry photos on your feed and no context, no caption, no anything, then why would they want to follow you back? Especially if you're a private account as well. That can deter someone from following you back as well. So I think sometimes people may follow a bunch of people, they're not really interested in their content, and then once they realize the person hasn't followed them, then they unfollow them. And I think sometimes people also, they want to have more of a number of people following them than the number of people that they're following, and so sometimes people might play that type of game as well. So I wouldn't be concerned about those people, because more than likely those people don't have that type of strategy that is really good in networking with people and trying to build relationships. And so even if I follow someone that posts content that I really need to see, I need to know, I need to learn how to do something, even if they don't follow me back, that doesn't mean I'm going to unfollow them, because I need the information that they're posting about. So, kind of keep that in mind as well. Sometimes people like to do a follow and unfollow game. If you're joining me live, drop your name below so I can see your comments and say hello. Okay. So, another reason I would say that people will unfollow is more so because they are just not what into what you're doing. And so let's say, for example, with me, I'm a person that dresses very modestly. I have my head covered, I'm not showing any skin or anything like that. Hi, auntie. And so that may not attract a bunch of people that might be interested in other things. They might be interested in worldly music or into celebrities and things like that, that aren't necessarily trying to live a holy life. So I may not attract people like that that is going to want to follow me and continuously follow me. And so I'm not going to become someone I'm not and like just change my whole appearance and everything like that just to satisfy other people. And I think that's a very dangerous game to play on social media when you realize that you're not getting the amount of likes that you were expecting, or you see people just unfollowing you, following you, unfollowing you. That can kind of mess with your mental if you're not strong. So that's why I really created this video for people as well that may be going through that where they feel like they need to please other people. Like you should be confident in the type of content that you're posting, even if it doesn't get a lot of attraction. There are big businesses out there, big time entrepreneurs that get unfollows every day, but you wouldn't really notice because they're constantly gaining new followers, new eyeballs, new traffic to their social media pages. And so it's all about outreach and creating content that's interesting for people. And so if you're watching this right now and you're feeling discouraged, you're like looking at your analytics on Instagram or anywhere else, and you notice that there is a decline in the number of people that are following you, just try to take a break, try to take a step back and really remember why you're creating this content. Who are you creating this content for? And so, people that regularly engage with you, whether that's in the direct messages or on your post publicly, they want you here. So, just remember that when you are going to create your content. And sometimes it is a messaging thing. Like I said earlier in this video, people may not resonate with your message anymore. So sometimes you do have to revisit your messaging and making sure that what you're saying is reaching the right people that you want to like digest your content every day. Because you also have to think about it as well. Chances are, if somebody's constantly engaging with your content on a daily basis, they're excited when you post new content. And so if you have a new video coming out or if you have some new information to share, they're going to most likely have their notifications on, or they're going to check to see if you posted something. You know, we're dealing with an algorithm out here now. And so it shows people content based on content that they have seen previously from other creators. And so if you really dial in on the type of content that you're creating, you can be known in that niche or in that area for that particular thing. So don't be discouraged, just keep on going. If you have any questions and you're here live, you can drop them below. If you're watching the replay, you can also drop questions as well. So, when should you be concerned about having a lot of unfollows? So, let's say, for example, you were in the spotlight, you're gaining a lot of followers, so you're becoming like really well known. Maybe you have interviews like on podcasts or on TV shows, things like that, or on the news and something like that. And maybe you weighed in on a particular topic. You know, there are a lot of things that are happening in the world today. Just look around you, pay attention to current events. And let's say, for example, you weigh in on a current event and your audience doesn't like that. So they might be very offended by what you say. And so that's why you have to be very careful what you say as well, because there's a particular way to say something. Like I work in a museum part time as well at the time of this recording. And so we have to constantly find different ways to kind of tell people, hey, like don't touch that, or make sure that you don't have your child like just going anywhere. Like make sure your child stays with like you. And so like we have to find ways to be nice about it. And so I think when you're talking about current events, that is good content, but you want to make sure that you're not being offensive to other people. Okay, so I'm going to feature a comment. We have a live question. So Charlotte says, I get a lot of people following me that I don't know. What makes them want to follow me? So this could be a whole new video in of itself, but what I can tell you is sometimes again, the social media platforms are recommending you based on someone that's similar. So I can say for one thing, a lot of people in First Church found me because I go to First Church. And so the algorithm noticed that we have certain things in common. We go to the same church or we look the same. I won't say the same, but we look similar. And they're trying to connect us so that we can connect with each other. That's actually how I met a lot of different brothers and sisters. I met them on social media first because that's where they saw me. And then when I went to a church convention, then I saw them in person. And so that could be a way that, you know, people are finding you. It could also work the same way if you all work in the same organization. Like, for example, JP Morgan Chase, that's a very big organization company. And so if somebody is already working there, then they may be connected with someone else that also works there simply because that second person is friends with your friend, if that makes sense. Let me know below if that makes sense. But sometimes by your simple connection, you can actually uh, be recommended, essentially. And I can't remember if your account is private, so let me know that too. But if whatever they can pick up on, they're going to pick up. Maybe you posted something encouraging in your stories, Instagram stories or Facebook stories, and someone saw it and they, were like, I want to follow you. Because sometimes I actually follow other accounts as well when my other friends share posts to their stories or if they share a post on Facebook. And I'm like, I really love this content. I'm going to follow this person or I'm going to follow this account. So that can happen as well. So that's for those of you that actually post content. Now, if someone's just following you and you don't post anything, like if I go to your page now and there are 0 posts and there's not even a photo of you, then I would question that because that's not interesting to most people. Like most people want to see some photos, some interests, things that you like to do, some trips you've gone on, things like that. But I really just want to drive the point home that unfollows are going to happen. That's a standard thing. People get tired of your content. And like for me, sometimes I do follow people where it's not to say that like what they're posting is discouraging, but maybe it can be discouraging to me in that moment where it's just like it's too much. Like maybe they're just posting too much about a particular thing or how much they're enjoying their life. And if I'm going through something like that, it's not to say I'm jealous of them, but it's like, hey, I wish I could um, you know, go on that trip. I wish I was in Fiji or something like that. And if they're just posting so much about it, that can sometimes be a little irritating as well. Auntie just said, I barely post. My page is boring. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, if your account is public and the algorithm can pick up that you have a similar interest or you follow the same types of pages, that's another way that people can find you as well. And if we're talking about Instagram here, you can also remove followers as well. If you don't know them or they, what am I trying to say? Yeah, if you don't know them and you don't want them following you, you can always remove them as a follower on Instagram. And the block button always works too. Me and Danye love using the block button. But I mean, I'm open to people follow me as well because my page is public for business purposes. And so I'm actually okay with people following me. But yeah, sometimes it makes me wonder as well, like what exactly made that person want to follow me. And sometimes you can look at your content if you have a business page, I think, and you can just see like how much traction that page got. And maybe sometimes people, you could even ask them as well, be like, hey, like, thanks for following me. What inspired you to follow me as well? Because I don't think that analytics on like every social platform kind of like shows you like who interacted with you based on this post, based on that post. So that might be too deep of a type of analytic, but it would be cool to see. I haven't seen it yet though. I think for these social media platforms, they actually show like a bigger picture. Like, maybe this post, like let's say for example, you posted 3 times within a 7-day period and you get like a mass amount of followers, then you can kind of see like on what day like you got the most followers, and then you could probably attribute it to that particular post that you posted if that's on the same day. So let's say you posted on the 28th and the 25th and the 22nd, and then you get a lot of followers on the 28th, then it's most likely because of that post that you posted on the 28th, but it could also be posts that you created, within those past 7 days. It could be all 3 posts. So that's just a short example. But yeah, I think for the most part, like, unless your content is just really horrible, I don't think that, like, basically what I'm trying to say is having a mass unfollowing is usually very, like, rare, I would say. There's also someone, an activist that I follow, or I did follow before on Instagram, and he's been posting a lot about war that is happening. And like the images were just so graphic and they were so very telling of what's going on over there, and it was just like too much. Like, it's like constantly seeing that every day. Like, I held on as long as I could because I wanted to kind of stay informed from, the other side, but it was just so hard to see, so I had to unfollow. So I know he definitely got a massive like unfollowing as well. So unless you're like posting about topics that are very heavy for people to see, or um you answered incorrectly or offensively, having to do with something that's like really important, or what people get like heated up about, like, you shouldn't really get a massive unfollowing. So with that being said, I am going to also talk about my program, Social Media Confidential, because I help my clients, which are typically wellness entrepreneurs, to be able to post online on social media and really build an audience, build community. So by the time that you go through my program, like, thinking about the number of unfollows that you're getting is probably going to be minimal, because you're going to just have so much fun, I believe, like creating the content that is going to engage your audience and really like encourage a good buying experience from them as well. So I'm just going to go briefly over what's included in the program. I did expand it to 6 months at the time of this recording because I want to make sure that you are receiving this transformation that will be good for your social media content. So if you're the type of person that doesn't really like posting content, or you don't really know what to say, or how to engage with people online, then this is a good program for you. And this is private coaching from me. And so I'll get you started in 12 posts or less. And so there is an application process as well. So head to the link in the description area. And so module 1, it goes over setting up. And so here's where I set you up on the top 2 social media platforms that I think everyone should have, regardless of what business that you have, and basically giving you the confidence to start posting online. And then module 2 is all about the storytelling suite. And so this really helps you to be able to learn how to take different experiences that have happened in your life and put them into a nice, beautiful story. So that way you can encourage your audience, you can walk your audience through why you are an expert online. So this really is going to help you establish yourself as an expert so you're able to sell your products and services. Module 3 is all about promoting on the different platforms. So we have TikTok, we have Facebook, we have Pinterest, we have Instagram. And so they all have different rules. Even though they're very similar to each other, they all have different ways and nuances of how you should be posting, because sometimes, you can't put an Instagram graphic on a Pinterest pin and then try to post that. It looks a little bit weird, and you want your audience to be able to digest it. When people come on to the platform, you want it to be optimized so that way they are getting the right information. And so I'll also teach you how to repurpose your content as well, because sometimes it's really hard coming up with new content ideas. And sometimes you need to redial in back on old content ideas so that way you're able to communicate those core teachings or those core things that your audience needs to know for them to make a decision to buy from you. Module 4 is all about tracking engagement online. And so this goes beyond tracking how many likes you got, how many comments you have received, what have people been saying about you, and the direct messages. I want to help you to be able to track your analytics regardless of what platform you're on, so that way you can use that to inform you to create better content. That is a really important part of social media. It is not just about posting a photo and a caption and calling it a day. You need to be able to look at the numbers and see what are people resonating with, so that way you can go back to your audience when a post doesn't work, and you can go back to them and ask them, be like, hey, what about this post? You didn't like, something like that, and just see if you approach it from a different way, you'll get better engagement. And then module 5 is all about retargeting practices. So I am a victim or guilty of this, I should say, where sometimes I may reach out to a prospective client based off the content that they saw or a referral or something like that, and I don't follow back up with them. So in this module, I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. Sometimes that's very hard to do, but the more that you practice, the better you get at it. Because sometimes I am very good at following up. So it's just a skill that I have to keep practicing, but I'm going to teach you what I know about that as well. So those are the 5 core modules. And in addition, you will also get 6 1-hour sessions with me one-on-one so that you can see and I can get a better picture of your content strategy, your campaign, and see how your posts are doing, how you're feeling about posting on social media. And you can ask me questions as well, because I'm not sure about you, but maybe you have been on a Q&A session with a group or with a massive like audience size looking at the entrepreneur or the teacher, and you just want to get that question in, but they don't have time to get to you, but you'll have access to me and only me at this time. So this is very valuable as well. And then I also have other bonuses as well to help you market outside of social media, because it's not just about social media. Social media is just part of a bigger strategy for you to connect with your clients and customers. And also I want to let you know as well that I have worked with entrepreneurs in the travel industry, as well as the wellness, like healthy eating and things like that, and self-care. So this program is for you if you're a wellness entrepreneur trying to grow on social media. And not only that, trying to build a community that is going to be excited for your products and services, and really just have a good conversation with them. Really just be that expert, that authority in your industry. So if you're interested, again, you want to apply at the link in the description. I'm so happy to those of you that joined today. If you didn't comment on this video, then please leave a comment just to let me know that you were here so I can thank you for joining. And if you're watching the replay, leave a comment as well. Did this content resonate with you? Did this encourage you to still continue posting content even if you are losing followers? Let me know, because I want to know if this is effective. And lastly, if this video was very valuable for you and you know someone, an entrepreneur, a wellness entrepreneur that could really use this message so that they can continue to be encouraged, please send this to them. Just send a little context with the link, like, hey, this person talked about what it feels like to lose followers, but see how encouraged she is to keep going. You can keep going as well. Just something like that. I just gave you a prompt. Thank you for joining. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this. Bye.